Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Kushel, and this is going to be my final demonstration project for EDAC 632, Organizing Adult and Community Education Programs. For this project, I'm going to discuss the papers I wrote for Organization, Leadership and Administration, Budget and Funding, HRM, and Marketing, all of which apply to adult education programs. For each of the projects, I will briefly review the paper I have completed, discussing the main idea for the project. I will also summarize the most significant ideas that I feel practitioners should know and lessons I have learned in doing these projects. The first project I'm going to discuss is program organization. For this, I utilized the training department at my work at the Hamilton County 911 Center. I wanted to avoid traditional adult education organizations such as universities or trade schools. I wanted to show you how complex government training organizations can be. So I showed both the broader training and the position-specific training and who is responsible for both. I also wanted to define the broader training and position-specific training that comes with the organization. This includes training for new hires, as well as ongoing training for senior dispatchers. So what were some of the takeaways from this first project? The first was the need for a strong training department to make sure the new hires knew what they needed to do when they reached the floor. The second was that my department was just a small part in a much larger organization, and how many people in that organization truly affected my single class. I saw the importance of an organizational structure so I could see who was setting my budget, who was making my policies and procedures, and who I answered to. And finally, the continuance of education throughout a career, including ongoing education and employee development, were very important. So for the second project, I was asked to interview a manager and an administrator for an adult education program. I chose to interview the Director of Training and Quality Assurance and the Quality Assurance Team Lead for the Hamilton County 911 Dispatch Center. I asked them to describe the difference and similarities between leadership and administration. I also asked them to discuss their day-to-day operations and how leadership and administration view one another. After sitting down with these two individuals, I learned several things, but the following three things really stuck with me. The first was the importance of vision when it came to leadership. Without vision and without a place to guide the team to, there was no point in leading it. The second thing I learned was that administrators can be leaders and have their own vision, but they still have to follow the vision that the manager above them has set down. So that administrator must make sure that their vision matches the vision of the leader above them. I also learned that good leaders choose and develop other leaders, thereby creating strong management within the organization. A good mentor hopes you will be great. A great mentor knows you will be. For Project 3, Budget and Funding, I changed from my place of employment to the Indy Arts Center. I simply could not find the budget for Hamilton County 911 Dispatch Center, and so I changed it to the Indy Arts Center, which is where I take my art classes. In my paper, I discussed the income and expenses for the Arts Center, including their largest expense, which is salary for teachers and staff. I discussed the difficulty in procuring funds during pandemics or inflation, how I learned about new places to gain funding, such as federal grants and endowments from government programs, and finally, new ideas for getting funds and how budgets should be spent. So what did I learn from project number 3? The first thing I learned was the budget process starts months or years in advance, even for a single class. I was amazed to learn how far in advance the budget committee sat down even for my simple pottery class. I learned the importance of locating multiple streams of income and being ready for oftentimes unseen difficulties in the road, such as a pandemic. I also learned the importance of being a good steward of the funds. Mismanagement of a budget can lead to long-term difficulties for the school. For project number 4, I sat down with the HR manager for the Indy Arts Center, and he was happy to talk to me about his department. In my paper, I discussed dealing with any situation where a person is involved, including contracts, discipline, and pay. We talked about the day in the life of an HRM. We discussed the HRM's responsibility in training. We discussed the use of new technology to monitor and track training. and we discussed much larger activities which occur outside of a teacher's classroom, including the importance of ensuring compliance with federal and state laws. In short, anything having to do with the human as a resource for a company fell under the purview of the HRM. So what did I take away from project number 4? I learned that the HRM is responsible for more than just hiring and firing. Payroll, certification, and ensuring compliance with state and federal policy is a large part of their work. They're also one of the largest adult education groups in the country, responsible for training new hires and ensuring certification training for all of their employees. Finally, they're a large part of the vision for an organization, assisting with the human aspect of making sure that company succeeds. Again, anything dealing with the human as a resource for that adult education company is responsibility of an HRM. Project number 5, marketing, I feel was the most fun I had in the course. For this, I set my business as a small art co-op, which teaches art classes to the local community. In my paper, I discussed the adult education business. I gave possible marketing ideas for a fledgling business, such as my art co-op would be at the very beginning. I discussed the importance of marketing and getting an immediate income, making sure to get students into my art classes as quick as possible in order to ensure the success of my art education business. The first takeaway from project number 5 was the importance of proper marketing. Getting people into your building and your classrooms is the most important thing, as they are the source of your income and will ensure your business succeeds. You also want to make sure your level of marketing matches the size of the business and its income. Social media marketing and local community marketing will only work for so long before your business will need to broaden its scope in order to attract more students. Finally, I learned the importance of many different sources for marketing. Simply limiting yourself to only social media or to only handing out flyers in the local area will not work. You need to have multiple sources of marketing to make sure you reach as many possible students as you can. This concludes my presentation for EDAC 632. Thank you for your time, and I wish you the best for the future.